Fun fact, I saw Guardians of the Galaxy for the first time ever in 2023. Yes, I know, sue me, I don't care. Now combine the high of seeing Guardians of the Galaxy for the first time with the high of platinuming, is that even a word? Both Battlefront 2 and Spider-Man 2, and what do you get? The Platinum Trophy journey for Guardians of the Galaxy, the game. Not at all related to the movies apparently. Meet Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord, a young man in his early 20s that is living out his superhero dreams, living paycheck to paycheck out in space with his dual laser blasters and ragtag crew of fellow space pirates. There's Drax, Rocket, everybody's favorite character, Groot. The proof of that being, I literally have a Lego version of Groot. You see him? Is the camera focusing? Can you see him? He's back there. And last but not least, Gamora. At the start of chapter 1, we find our crew searching for a high value target in a dangerous area of space called the quarantine zone. Hey, that's what my wife calls the room after I've sat in here sweating for multiple hours. Anyways, first trophy I obtained was for purchasing the first Star-Lord ability, because no single player game would be complete without a skill tree to grind out. With an ability purchased, it is now time for me to be put to the test, as Rocket makes a bet as we continue to move through the quarantine zone. The bet is simple. Whoever shoots more bug nests wins. How hard can it be? Okay, actually it was super easy for me. The crew then runs into a menacing, elusive, and horrible creature. Busts up some cover so it is forced to reveal itself, and we discover that it is actually just this dorky little llama unlocking a trophy. The crew is apprehended with the llama in hand, and I officially wrapped up chapter 1. Chapter 2. The crew is cuffed by a group called Nova Corps, and Star-Lord is able to negotiate a plan for freedom, aka a $10,000 fine, since he basically saves his potential daughter from a catastrophe and returns her safely to his potential baby mama. And that's basically the entirety of chapter 2. In chapter 3, the crew traverses across the next world in hopes of selling well themselves as a prisoner to the local ruler, and I acquire the ice element. Acquire might be a strong word, as when everyone ends up in a sticky situation, Star-Lord basically just uses magic to create a new gun that frees himself and everyone else from a jello puddle. Solve some more puzzles, and begin to cross a giant bridge with Rocket posing as a rabid prisoner. Begin walking montage, end chapter. Upon the opening of chapter 4, the crew finally makes contact with some of the locals in front of the fortress I've been traversing towards. They meet the ruling queen, who takes a liking to Drax. Rocket decides he's offended by this whole selling him as a prisoner thing. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that I decided we should all sell Rocket over group for credits. Things go off the rails, and I get a trophy for staggering 25 enemies. It's bound to happen pretty quickly, as the enemies in the first few chapters have shields that are pretty easy to break. The next trophy I get is obtained for executing an auto combo with Gamora. Basically, as you engage in melee combat near your fellow Guardians, one of them may join you in executing what's basically a finisher. Gamora's is pretty sick. The crew manages to stumble closer and closer to the exit, so the lady in charge sends her pet Cthulhu. Is that how you say that? I don't even know how to say it. After everyone for quite the little boss fight. I use the power of friendship to cut off all its tentacles and put it to sleep. To wrap up chapter 4, the Guardians leave on speeders, the queen pursues, but I get away safely. And the reason why the queen was so mad was because Peter stole about 10,000 credits from a vault, so Peter decides it's time to pay the fine for the crew's freedom from Nova Corps. They arrive at an asteroid base, only to find things to be a little too quiet. They send a signal to some guards supposedly nearby, and they quickly arrive and look a little purple. Fighting ensues, and I execute an auto combo with Drax. As the fighting very quickly intensifies, I am awarded a trophy for reviving a fallen team member. Hey, maybe my team does need me after all. I also managed to execute an auto combo with Rocket and attain the maximum possible momentum 10 times in one sweet maneuver. I've already explained how the auto combos work, but the momentum works as just a simplified combo system. The more bad guys you slap, the cooler word you get to describe how awesome you're playing in any given fight sequence. Fun stuff. The crew manages to fight off this weird cult that has taken over this particular base. Rocket gets into a major argument with Star-Lord. The Guardians try to figure out the next move. The next move to start chapter 6 involves going to nowhere, spelt K-N-O where. Not to be confused with nowhere. So they are going to somewhere called nowhere. Totally not confusing. The objective? Find a buddy of Star-Lord's named Cosmo. Now this place is filled with scum and revelry, aka we can participate in Gamba. But I totally choose not to, because gambling in street-side casinos is definitely one of the fastest ways to lose your money. A slot machine. Some more Gamba? I mean, it's only 500. I won. What? I just got scammed. I just got scammed. That's crazy. I knew I shouldn't trust anything on this planet. Man, what's the... Chat, this is why you do not trust anything casino or Gamba related ever. It will fail you. Can't believe that just happened. I mean, I can totally believe that happened on this planet, but geez. Wait, I'm an expert at these games. Hold on. I know what I just said about gambling, but I can win this one. Okay. Chat, I'm a pro. Middle. Easy. Easy. 1,000? I paid 25 and won 1,000. Keep it rolling. 1,500? Okay, wait, lock it in. It's in the middle again. I got this. What? Oh, they're gone. Oh, dude, do not trust the casinos ever. Bad people. They do not have your best interest in mind. Do not play their games. Holy moly. I'll listen to myself. Jeez. I don't trust anything on this planet. Cannot, and I will not blow all my money here, okay? I just gotta figure out what's up here, though. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm smarter than that. Drax brings me back into reality with a sobering conversation about a weird encounter with Gamora's friend Mantis. Lots of random talks about life during this chapter. I'll start to formally approach Cosmo's place of residence, and a pair of twins approach me hoping to fulfill a bounty. Here's the real kicker. They're invincible, because of course they are. I'm able to weaken them and get sent to a flashback when Star-Lord learns that he's basically an heir to an alien throne and is presented with his signature tools. Star-Lord awakens from the flashback in a plexiglass jail cube to start chapter 7. The rest of the Guardians arrive against their will, and Cosmo requests our presence. I find out that he is the goodest boy on the face of this solar system, and that he has a mission for the Gardeners, to investigate the whereabouts and what doings of Star-Lord's baby mama. That's right, we find out that Kor-El is probably officially Star-Lord's baby mama. But to do that, we gotta ride the Master Hand through some dimensions to a ship and restore gravity to the inside of it. How do we restore gravity? By plugging in the wire to an outlet and not touching the green stuff. You wanna know what I did? I plugged the wire directly into the green stuff, almost sending the entire team into space. Luckily, Star-Lord magically gains the ability to use electricity in his blasters. Neat. I make my way through the ship, turn the power back on, and find a machine that seems to be harvesting some energy from the planet below. I go below/around it, deeper into the ship, and learn more about Kor-El's whereabouts and what happened to the ship. The team decides to push towards the server room, falls through the floor, takes out some cultists, and instead goes to the bridge. I learn some things and am greeted by the leader of the cult, the Grand Unifier. Chapter 8 begins with the leader wanting to take the team on a journey to visit the matriarch. And spoiler alert, it's Star-Lord's kid, Nikki, from earlier. She seems to have been captured and converted to this idea that her mom is still with her, and to try to do the same to Star-Lord, sends him to visit his now dead mother and try to save her. I successfully ward off the alien invasion back at Peter's childhood home. The Guardians gather around Star-Lord's precious memories, and the game happily ends. Roll credits. Wait, that's not how this game's supposed to end. Rewind to defeating the alien invasion. Star-Lord pushes his mom off of him and sends her to the gulag. Star-Lord is sent to another vision of what could be and eventually snaps out of it. Take on the Grand Unifier, force him to retreat, take on even more bad guys where I finally execute 10 flare attacks. The team pushes through the giant temple ship and eventually order the ship to pick them all up, Uber style. I find more cult rituals going on and try to fly by as much as I can so the Guardians can escape. Gamora decides to chase the Grand Unifier by herself, and the boys proceed to exit and take on fight after fight. Rocket sets some charges, I take out some enemies with one of Star-Lord's OP abilities, and Drax also takes out some bad guys. Not sure what Groot's doing on all this, but I can never complain about Groot's presence. The guys head down some service pipes, Rocket sets off the charges, and the guys end up in the frozen depths of space. And then the lift arrives and unmelts everyone, like Leia saving Han Solo from Carbonite in episode 6. And Gamora also makes her way back somehow with the Grand Unifier's arm in hand. Chapter 9 begins with a Captain Falcon looking bro alerting the Guardians that he is chasing a bounty on the crew. I put my Star Fox 64 training to the test and take out the Lethal Legion. Do a barrel roll! And head to Xandar to meet the Worldmind, collective leader of the Nova Corps. But in order to have a chat, I need to roll through my electronic Rolodex. $5 to anyone that knows what that is, and figure out the best way to get into contact. Some ways lead to dead ends, but mentioning money seems to wake up the Worldmind, and a great conversation is had where they prove that government leaders only protect themselves and not their people. Typical. I seem to put some holes in their logic though, and they aren't happy about it. So they dip, and the Church of Truth appears, leading to a quick escape. And even though the Worldmind didn't really help me here, it still asked me to pay my fine. As ridiculous as paying that fine is at this point, I am a good, outstanding citizen, and decide to finally pay off my debt. Star-Lord and the crew have a bit of a fight, and I decide to take a shower and call it a night. In-game, of course. I don't actually shower. Star-Lord dozes off in the most teenager-esque way possible, and wakes up to the matriarch transforming into some sort of black hole creature that sucks everyone up, and leads to Star-Lord confronting his fears and shooting back, waking him up from the dream. Drax is there. And chapter 10 begins with his glowing eyes peering into my soul. Wait, his eyes normally aren't this deep and mysterious. Oh wait, it's because he's accepted the matriarch's promise and is now part of the cult. He locks everyone in their rooms, but Star-Lord comes up with a brilliant plan to sing to my llama friend in order to draw it near some cables it can chew up, because llamas love eating high voltage wiring. Crew heads out the ship and wander over to a village being terrorized by Drax, who is looking for answers. Luckily, Mantis is here and is able to take control of him and calm him down. She suggests that the only way to save him is to head into a creepy cave. I do my best Nathan Drake impressions down into the cave until I need to fight some enemies. Luckily, I have Groot to assist me here. I also figured that this would be a great time to invest the skill points that I've been stockpiling into unlocking abilities for some of the Guardians. Rocket starts to go off the path first and by himself, and when he leads, he tends to blow things up and ask questions later. This leads to some giant rocks falling on my head. Star-Lord gains the ability to use the element of wind in his blasters, allowing him to bring enemies closer to him. After testing the wind element, I get myself into another fight sequence and team up with Groot yet again. After kicking some booty, I need to part a waterfall, Moses style, using some giant vegetation. And all because Rocket hates getting wet and refuses to progress here. True child behavior, if you ask me. Eventually, the cave well caves in and leaves the team in the dark. Oh jeez! Until my good friend Groot starts to light the way before us, like a true friend would. This leads to some never-ending foggy rooms, a face carved into a wall that's creating all the fog, and our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ himself. Wait, you're telling me that isn't Jesus? That's a man made of gold in an egg sack at the bottom of a cave. What do you mean he isn't the Son of God? Wait, is this sacrilegious for me to be saying this? Anyways, once this guy sees what's happening to Drax, he offers the team a place to sit down and enter our thoughts. Normally you just pay a few $100 for a session, but I guess adventuring down a cave on a foreign planet is fine too. Specifically, the team enters Drax's thoughts to start Chapter 11. It's basically just a walking simulator as I try to catch up to Drax himself before running into Thanos, and boy, he will not go down without a fight. He literally multiplies until the golden guy mentions something about failure. That much to my dismay, I lay down my arms. This allows the rest of the Guardians to chase Drax through a maze of lies and shadows, and I get to the point of being able to free him from the promise, which greatly upsets the matriarch. The team leaves with our golden friend Warlock, and Mantis stays behind to defend her people. Oh yeah, Warlock mentions that he knows what's going on with the Grand Unifier in the church, and that it all started with him being betrayed by the Grand Unifier, as the old guy wanted to turn the golden guy's healing powers into a for-profit. Classic boomer move. I also banter with him and his poetic prowess aboard the ship.
Your tenuous tactics trust too much to fortune. Can you confidently convince me your meager measures may amply manage this mission?
Huh?
My meager what? You strut as an insecure cock, uncertain of his stature.
Does that mean what I think it means?
Leading must be wrought off the fullness of your yearning yoke. Will it be so?
Yes, absolutely.
Words. Sure and measured.
Once the team decides to fly to nowhere, we'll need to go over that pronunciation again, do we? Chapter 12 gets rolling. Warlock departs on his own mission, and Guardians push their way through some cultists. I witness the destruction the cultists have made to nowhere and look for Cosmo, who's been rather radio silent for the past few missions. Rocket learned a new ability recently, and I put it to the test through some of these sequences. Upon reaching Cosmo, I find out that the cultists have already started to get to him, so it's my job to get him to snap out of it. He's a pretty smart boy who has some complex feelings of his own, but I work through them and help him to get back to reality. Drax also learned a new ability, so I call upon him to do some damage as the team now advances towards the matriarch. And that's basically part 2 of the mission here. The church is preparing to do a ritual with the matriarch slash Nikki at the center of it. Just gotta pull some plugs, fend off some cultists, and try to talk to Nikki. Except the Grand Unifier arrives with a down and out Warlock and convinces the team to stand down. The cultists dip, and the Guardians dip shortly after, not too far behind. The Guardians fly all the way to the church's temple ship, watch a bunch of Nova Corps ships surrender to the church, and try to come up with a plan. And you know who comes up with the best idea? That's right, it's the llama. If I've been explaining it well so far, then you would understand that the cult can convince anyone with a complex brain to join them. What about animals? Cosmo was an exception, since again, he's a smart boy and a good boy. And you know who likes and has a team of animals that could back up the Guardians for a big strike? Lady Hellbender, aka the Cthulhu Queen, aka Drax's biggest fan, aka the one still putting up bounties on the Guardians. Perhaps a peace offering will make her forgive the team, ? This leads the team to fly to one of the most dangerous planets that Drax can think of. Chapter 13 begins with the hunt for Fin Fang Foom, falling slabs of concrete that knock down the crew and their ship onto the planet's surface. This leads me to cross the frozen terrain, fight some yetis, and fall down an ice slide. And of course, just in the nick of time, Star-Lord magically learns how to summon fire. I continue to traverse the tundra, find a crash site, finally encounter the legendary dragon. The objective? To capture it and offer it to Lady Hellbender, which I am able to successfully do rather easily because I am an elite gamer and destroyer of in-game worlds. It's at this point that I get a nice little double trophy pop as I unlock the final special ability for all the Guardians. I officially gain Lady Hellbender's support after she nearly crushes my face. Taken out of context, that definitely sounds a certain way now, doesn't it? Chapter 14 is the beginning of the end. The Guardians fly back to the temple ship, and I am joined by my newfound allies. I fly straight into the ship, jump out in some fresh drip, and take advantage of Groot's newly unlocked special ability that can both revive and heal the Guardians at any moment in time. Trust me, I actually put this to good use throughout the rest of the chapter. I spend my time moving forward, taking down bad guys, pushing through a wind tunnel, fighting in outer space, retrieving Star-Lord's previously jettisoned cassette player. It does make for a pretty metal scene. I also make sure to have Gamora assist me in a takedown. An enemy dropship eventually shows up, but the galaxy's goodest boy arrives and knocks it out of the sky, or out of space, I guess. This allows me and the team to quickly push into and through the mines and towards a factory where I am met by the Worldmind, who politely blows up the parts of the factory that make the evil robots. I open a door, find our good friend Warlock, who is being held captive by the Grand Unifier. Once Warlock is freed, chapter 15 starts, and the team finds Nikki, who's about to sacrifice herself and destroy the galaxy. Luckily, I'm able to enter her mind and give her a pep talk, which leads to her reconsidering her actions. She is released and transformed, but the Grand Unifier isn't too happy with this, so he decides to fight me. Again, I'm a world-class action hero, so he's a cakewalk.
Victory screech!
Okay, now I gotta walk back to my ship. I receive some congratulations from friends made throughout the story. The team leaves their business card behind as they fly off into the sunset. Roll credits. In true Marvel fashion, there has to be a mid-credit scene. You know what happens? Turns out that Warlock gets a little seasick from time to time. What a nerd. And then he gets possessed and turns into Magus, destroyer of worlds. Oh shoot, I just got bamboozled by another fake credit roll. Chapter 16 is all about finding Magus, specifically annoying him until Nikki can get close enough to knock him down using an Infinity Stone. Like, that's literally it. His goons suck. He's easily annoyed by my banter, enter. Sounds like another day in the office. Team finally takes him out, and the actual credits roll, or realsies this time. The actual mid-credits scene involves Star-Lord deciding if he's actually ready to be a father figure to Nikki, the newest member of the Guardians. This is basically me right now, as I prepare myself to welcome my first child into this world. I'm feeling good. Star-Lord's feeling good. I'll pray for us. It ain't easy. Now, I am left with a little bit of cleanup, as I have obtained 49 out of 59 trophies. My cleanup of this platinum trophy is going to involve 2 little grinds, one that includes completing various little combat challenges, and one that includes finding some collectibles and outfits. Unfortunately for me, this game doesn't really show you how many collectibles you've obtained throughout your playthrough. If you decide to replay a chapter, it'll reset your collectible progress. So I have to do perhaps one of the worst things imaginable to now obtain this platinum trophy. Start a new game plus save file. So I'll start blasting my way through chapter 1 again in hopes of finding weak enemies and abundant collectibles, which I am able to do rather quickly and put Star-Lord's Eye of the Hurricane ability to good use. I wrap up a few big enemies using Gamora's Executioner ability, grind out some charged shot eliminations on staggered enemies, which sounds easy on paper, but in reality, more of a 1-2 punch of beating up enemies with a good amount of health. Start to make good progress on the Guardian collectible hunt, and pick up one collectible in particular that serves as both the final collectible for one Guardian, exactly the halfway marker for all of the Guardian collectibles. And for the final combat challenge, I roll the dice on Drax performing one of his special quick time event moves on a particular enemy that only shows up in one chapter of the entire game. Luckily for me, he actually comes through. This now officially leaves me with 2 types of collectibles to focus on: outfits and lore. I only need 1 or 2 outfits for most of the Guardians, and the lore is still pretty scattered throughout the game, so this might take some time. I continue to progress through the chapters until I make it back to chapter 6, which famously happens on nowhere and involves everyone's favorite pastime, gambling. Go figure. Even after everything I said about every activity on this planet, it is here where I officially collect enough of the lore to pop the trophy. Who would have thunk that getting a scam lottery ticket would get me 1 step closer to a platinum trophy? Now that enough of my compendium is complete, time to focus on collecting the rest of the outfits that I missed out on during my first playthrough. In a stroke of genius, I realized that even if you do use the chapter select feature, the game will remember what outfits you found, just not the other collectibles apparently. With this knowledge in hand, I speed through the rest of the outfits like it's Mario Kart at 150cc. Upon zipping to my last outfit in the platinum trophy, I figure it's best to hand the mic off to my recorded self. Take it away, John. I can't believe we're here. Before I get the platinum trophy, there are 2 more trophies I need to do. The first one, I get for equipping 1 outfit. Very easy, I know. So now, just to make this a little more fun, I'm gonna give a W or L on every outfit because this last trophy requires me to equip every outfit in this game. And I have not looked at all of them yet, so we're gonna do a quick run through here, see how we feel on our way to unlocking this platinum trophy. Standard Lord W, Nova Lord L, Guardians of the Galaxy 14 W, Bad Lord L, Apocalypse Lord W, Warlord L, Team Lord L, Gold Lord W, Space Lord L, City Lord W, Sleep Lord W, Sun Lord W, Social Lord L. Alright, Rocket, what you got here? Standard Outfit W, Guardians of the Galaxy 14 W, Five Horsemen of the Apocalypse W, Melkor L, Hero of Half-World W, the Smuggler W, the Stinger, Major W, Single Guardians W, War Root, we have Standard Outfit W, Guardians of the 14 W, Five Horsemen of the Apocalypse W, Melkor L, Annihilation Conquest L, Impaler W, Battle Clock Sprouts W, Golden Guardians W, Gamora, Standard Outfit W, Guardians of the 14 W, Melkor L, Five Horsemen of the Apocalypse W, Agile Kill W, Black Vortex W, Chosen Daughter W, Golden Guardians W, Last but not least, Drax, Standard Outfit W, Guardians of the 14 W, Melkor L, Cage Match W, Thanos Imperative L, Atathian Monk W, Five Horsemen of the Apocalypse W, Golden Guardians W. Fashion Passion for the Platinum Trophy. This is what we do. And a new milestone. Wait. Level 350. Y'all, I'm a nerd. That's the Platinum Trophy for Guardians of the Galaxy. If you enjoyed watching this video and you haven't done already, feel free to drop a like. Let me know what you want to see me platinum next. Of course, sub if you haven't already if you want to see me get more platinum trophies. I appreciate you. You are loved. Thanks for being here today. And if you want to see me platinum another Marvel game, make sure to check out my Spider-Man 2 platinum trophy video. Otherwise, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.